Alright guys, SEMRAH is officially out, and after this video you will be able to make your best possible team to get as many rewards and get as high of a score on SEMRAH as possible, depending on your individual account. It doesn't matter how your account looks like. After this video you will not only be able to build a good team, you will know what kind of things you need to look for in a hero to be able to tell if that hero is going to be good for that guild boss and how to implement them. And at the beginning I will go for essentials that every team comp needs to get high points, and then afterwards I will go into different team comps that you can use and what kind of factions you want to look for and how you want to build around these different factions for each different faction, for each different account, no matter where you're standing in the game. And with that said, let's get into the essentials. These things cannot be neglected in any type of team comp, in any type of faction that you use. You will need them, otherwise you won't be able to get a high score. And these essentials are based on the different phases of SEMRAH. So the first phase is the chainsaw, and the chainsaw, when he charges it up and he hits, he's gonna one-shot you. So what you need to do is during his charge time you can actually CC him through stuns, freezes and so forth, and with that CC his charge time gets longer and his chainsaw hit will get weaker. It will get a lot weaker, and you will need multiple CCs during his charge time, otherwise he will just wipe out one hero after another with his chainsaw. And for that we will have CC examples. Then another example thing that you will need is survivability examples. He hits a lot of AoE and he hits like a truck, so you will need some damage negations in your team. And for the third phase he will inflict poison and over and over again throughout all the phases, which is why you want cleansers. You need a cleanser in all of your teams, and then buffers just to get more damage. You get the gist, they're always goated. Now for the CC examples, why don't I have the likes of a Boreas here, for example? Now Boreas can be used as a CC'er, Captain Reef can be used as a CC'er during the chainsaw wind up, but what you want to look for in a hero is that they provide not only the CC, but they provide the CC without you having a huge DPS loss. So the best unit for that by far is Torodor, because he's a lord for pretty much the best faction for this fight, the Nightmare. I will go over the factions later, like I said, but he's goated as a lord, so he will provide a lot of buffs for your Nightmare units. He will provide damage, defense threat, and on top of that you can use him in a morale set. On top of that he is able to stun so consistently that he alone already makes the chainsaw phase of the fight a piece of cake compared to if you don't have him. So if you have him, he's one of the cheat codes for sure. Like, his stun uptime from his auto hit is so high, it helps so much, and that's what you look for. You look for someone who can provide the stuns without you having a huge DPS loss, because if you use a Captain Reef you have the stuns, but you lose one entire unit just for getting stuns for the chainsaw, right? So for example Erica is amazing too, because she doesn't provide as many stuns as Torodor, but she provides some, and she provides good damage increase for two of the strongest hitters, Silas and Hex. Hex of course also provides some stuns, which is amazing. Then you have the likes of a Twin Fiend also providing stuns and providing buffs for Infernals and vulnerability. And then afterwards you slowly get down the rabbit hole with just trying to get anyone who has CC, right? But these are kind of what you're looking for. You kind of want to have a CC'er without that CC'er getting your team a big DPS loss. The next thing is the survival. Similar thing. You want someone who does multiple things at once, and that is Fercy. Fercy is goated for this fight, and Fercy, I can already tell you, is another cheat code. So Firstly is one of the few cheat codes for this fight, simply because of the AoE damage reduction. The AoE damage reduction is crucial for survivability for your team. He brings heals. He has insane range, so he can heal literally anyone. The damage reduction. He brings inspiration. As you can see the pattern here, same thing as at the CC example. He does not just bring survivability, but he brings other things as well. Alistair, amazing as well. Amazing unit for that as well, right? He brings damage, not as much as a Hex, of course, but he brings good damage. He brings true damage. With the Praetus, he's goated. Watcher faction might surprise you. They're on the rise, and there are ones to watch where he could be used as well. But overall, even if you don't use him with a Lord, just as a slot in for survivability, Alistair will help a lot due to his damage reduction on its own already. Same with Volka, she provides healing, she provides damage reduction, she provides vulnerability, and Carnelian, unkillable buff. Cleansers are pretty straightforward. You have different cleansers, they all heal. By far the best one is Eloin. She is, I think most of you guys are sick of it. Seeing her on top. She's the best unit in the game. Talk about Praetos all you want. I said it now and I stand by it. I think she's at the current state of the game, the GOAT. At least in PvE. Because she not only provides cleanses, you get the pattern, she provides healing, and on top of the healing she provides rage regen. Rage regen, we all know, is broken, and that for the entire team. If you don't have her, you will need another cleanser. Medon works well as well. She provides healing and cleansing, and she provides some damage reduction. So Medon is actually quite good, right? She provides some defense for your units, not to be underestimated. And then of course some other cleanses. Buffers are pretty straightforward, not much to be said. You basically always want to use one. They're just too good to not be used. So with that said, there you guys have it. Of course, these are just examples. Keep that in mind. There are way more options for survivability. There are way more options for CC and so forth. But with the knowledge that you gather now, you will find your best option for yourself by yourself, even if that option isn't here listed as one of the examples, right? So now, with that said, let's get into the factions. And here we have the factions in order. Now, one thing that you might notice is the chaotic faction, not chaotic, the cursed faction is missing. Where's the cursed faction, Ronaldo? Now, if you, listen closely, if you plan to use cursed faction against SEMRAH, I will personally come knocking at your door. You're gonna open up that door, you're gonna give me your phone, and I will throw it out the window. Do you understand? Why would you use cursed against that fight? If you do, you're a lost cause. I'll be honest, you're a lost cause. Don't get me started on curse. Let's get back on track. So the four best factions would be Nightmare up to Piercers. I think Nightmare will be the best one. I will go in depth about everything, but I think all of these are close. I think Chaotic is based on Valderon. Chaotic is strong, and Watchers are the ones to watch. I think Chaotic and Watchers can be strong as well, especially Watchers. You will hear my point about Watchers. But Nightmare, why do I believe Nightmare is so strong? First up, they have some of the best DPS in the game with the Arrogance and Lust combination. They have the best provider of CC for that fight, and that is Torodor, so a super good lord for it as well. They also, since they're Nightmare units, have all relatively high HP bars, which is amazing for that fight as well. As you already see, many things going for them. And one special thing that you might not consider, and most EE people wouldn't even think of, is that they're mostly ground units. And that's a big plus for them, because in that fight you will have to use ground units and platform units. And as we all know, all the other like top tier factions, they are mainly revolved around platform units. And that's where the Nightmares come in to swoop in and take the spot of the ground units. It's simple as that. They just make it easy. right? You can't use all ground units, you can't use all platform units. You kind of want to balance it out, so you can have your Elohim, for example, or your cleanser just to, and your healers to heal everyone at once, and you don't need 5 healers or something. And that's how it works. That's their big advantage. They're able to fill in the slot of the ground units as well, while having all these other benefits to their name. Then the arbiters, they have a lot of things going here. They have a lot of things going for them. Praetor's top tier DPS for that. Alistair, good DPS plus the damage reduction, good buffer, good cleanser, good buffer and DPS. They have a lot of things going for them, even if you don't use all of them. They have true damage as well. They're just super good for this fight. They're just super good for this fight. If you have them, you want to make use of them. Then Infernal is another tier 0 faction here, because they have some of the best DPS with the likes of a Hex, with the likes of Zilla2. They have Thirsty, they have Dolores. If you use an Infernal Lord, her attack is higher, her attack buff is higher as well. You have the likes of a Soul Cadence, they have the likes of Twin Fiend. They're just a stable comp, and I think just like the Nightmare, as you can see, these two factions have so many options. I think for most of us, one of these teams will be used during Apocalypse 1 or 2, at least once for sure, because they have so many options. Most of us will have some of the key units, which will make building a team out of all these options that they have a lot easier, of course. The likes of Arrogance and Lust are way better than, for example, Kineza. But yeah, Infernal, amazing. And then Piercer, you could say Piercer might even be better than Infernal, because Piercer have the higher DPS with Silas and Hex. Hex not losing out on damage as well, and on top of that, Piercers. But the Infernals have more options overall, are more accessible for most of the people. But Piercers, what I want to say, the big thing about Piercers is actually Erica, for my account personally, is better than Yovar, because Erica will provide stuns for the chainsaw. I don't have a Torodor, so I have to really get more stuns in there to be able to survive the chainsaw. So if you don't have enough CC, Erica is even better than Yovar. If you have enough CC in your team, the Yovar's Lord bonus and damage will be superior to Erica's, of course, and bring Hex's and Silas's numbers up even further. So yeah, these two are hard-hitting monsters, right? Of course, we all know that these are hard-hitting monsters, these are hard-hitting monsters, these are hard-hitting monsters. Now we get to Chaotic, and Chaotic is basically a one-man show, I'll be honest. It is a bit similar to Arbiters, where Arbiters have a lot more good utility. Chaotic is just a Valderon show. He's one of the best DPS for this fight. He's an absolute unit. He just rinses. If you don't have a Valderon, I don't think you are going to build a Chaotic team. They don't have that crazy single target DPS. They can use a Lugaru as well, right? Outside of the Valderon, but it's just mainly the Valderon show, really. Lugaru is good as well, actually. But Chaotic, yeah, is a Valderon show. I think if they get more and more units added, they have a lot of potential. But for now, I think they are one step below these other 4 tier 0 factions. And then the ones to watch. Watchers. Watchers have all the building blocks needed for them to succeed. They just have one thing that they're missing. And they're already getting it somewhat. So first up, they have good healer and support buffing. They have cleansing. They have tech buffing. They have good damage and utility. They have even more utility. They all have utility. So much utility. And Lucius is amazing. Lucius is amazing. He's able to cleanse multiple buffs from the shield phase of SEMRAH during his ultimate. His damage is great as well. In his demon stance, he rinses as well. I think Lucius is amazing. And the thing is, spoiler alert, Watchers are gonna get a new lord, huh? Some of you might know, some of you don't. And if that lord is gonna be, in terms of damage, on a level of a Praetus, a Silas, a Hex, or a Valdern, then the Watchers, they rise to the occasion, and that big time, because they have the utility, they have all the things they need to succeed. What they now need is one hard-hitting menace. Now Lucius hits hard, but you will mainly use him for the cleansing, right? His hard hitting is doing his demon stance, but if you use his demon stance, you guys won't even know what I'm talking about, most likely, but basically when you use his demon stance, he can't cleanse, but you want to kind of cleanse, so you're gonna use the other stance, and in the other stance he doesn't deal as much damage as the demon stance. You get the gist, but he's still good. Lucius is amazing. He's gonna bump this faction so far up, and they are the ones to watch, guys. They're the ones to watch. I say it now. Watch out for the Watchers. Then Northerners. I think Northerners, they are in a similar thing. They have similar benefits as the Nightmares, right? They are tanky. The problem is they lack tier 0 damage dealers, right? They have some tankiness, but they lack the damage. They do lack the damage. If you take a look at it, Nocturne does not keep up with a Arrogance or a Lust, right? These Elder neither, Ardea in single target can't keep up in single target with Lust and Arrogance. Of course Ardea in AoE, but SEMRAH isn't AoE, right? She deals good damage, they all deal good damage, they have quite tankiness, but they're lacking a heavy hitter. Just like the Watchers, they're lacking that heavy single target hitter. If they get one, they can rise up the ranks big time. Same thing for Esotericists, they lacking that heavy single target hitter. They have a lot of building blocks for them, but yeah, they're just lacking that heavy single target hitter. Seraphina is amazing for single target arena, but not for the guild bosses. It's complicated, I don't want to go in depth here, but they have a lot of potential just like the others. They're just lacking that heavy hitter in terms of single target. Yeah, so yeah, this is it basically. This is it. You really want to focus on these 4 factions on top. If you have a Valdern, you can focus on the chaotic faction as well, and then build your team around these factions that you have the units for, while keeping these things in check, right? While having all these things in check, and then you will be good to go. This is it from my side. I hope you all know what you need to look for now, right? What kind of heroes you need and what kind of factions you kind of want to prioritize here. And with that said, I think you're going to be able to build your own team depending on your account. I'm Ronaldo. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm out. Peace.